was able to restore all of the restorations of the eldest son position and the parents and child position. And he has to bring this foundation, and how he was able to bring this foundation. So we're going to investigate now how True Father was able to receive all of these preparation for making these foundations. So True Father was born into the family of the moons. So the family is from the person called Moon Tasong. So at this time in Korea there was a kingdom, the three kingdoms of Korea. There was Shilla, Koguryo, and Baekje. There were these three kingdoms of Korea at this time. These three kingdoms, the leader of the Baekje kingdom was going to play at the river, and one time they heard the crying noise of a baby at this river, and so he was looking all over the place from where this crying was coming from. The crying of this baby, the sound was getting louder and louder, and nearby there was a rock. Is this where the babies are crying from? So he went up this rock to investigate. Going up this rock, there was a door, and there are these Chinese characters in red ink written on this rock. And this rock was happened to be a door into the rock of the mountain, and inside this rock there was a baby crying. And so at this time there was a leader that was protecting this baby. So 3 days before, the Shilla king was able to find this baby. There was a very bright red light from the sky that he saw, and this king of Shilla saw this symbol and saw that God, heaven, was not just blessing over one kingdom, the Shilla kingdom, but he found out and he understood that heaven was blessing all of these kingdoms, especially this baby that was crying in this rock. So in Shilla, over the border, the northern border, they go into Baekje. They discover this baby, and they persuade the leader of this kingdom, and they lie, and they bring this child, from Baekje to Shilla. So then in Shilla, they raise this child, and they marry the child to the princess, and this is the start, the first ancestor of the Moon Tasong, founder. I'm not sure if you understand this concept in the United Kingdom, but in Korea, the southern province in South Korea, which was the area of Shilla, and then Baekje is the area of Cholla province, which is southwest in Korea. So they brought up this child in the opposite kingdom of where the child was from. So even now, these two provinces are fighting in Korea. And the background of this is because this child that was born in Baekje Kingdom went to Shilla and was married to a princess. So even now, politically, the leaders in Korea from these two provinces are fighting a lot. So this has a very historical meaning. So this child has no parents. So the concept is that God became the parent of this child and was born from this rock, and this symbolizes Jesus Christ. And the Chinese characters that were written on this rock are representing the words of God. So the background of humanity, the humans falling, was Eve falling. So in order to restore this situation is only through God's words. So through God's words, we are able to recreate this kingdom. So now the Messiah that comes, this is the symbolic meaning of the Messiah coming to restore all of these foundations. So there's this family tradition. Let's read this together. Korea politically is divided into 8 regions. These 8 regions, people coming from these 8 regions, the poor people, there was this trend. So the Moon Clan was able to feed all of these poor people coming from these different regions. This family tradition was not just started from this Moon family, but it's a tradition that had came from the ancestors of these people. So why did True Father, this family, feed all of these poor people? How did they get this tradition of feeding the poor people that were walking through their province? So the first Adam had failed this, and the second Adam took over this mission. So the second Adam, what foundation, the spiritual or the physical foundation, did he realize? He realized the salvation of the spiritual foundation. He didn't realize the physical salvation. So the third Adam has to realize what the second Adam didn't realize. So what is... So the third Adam has to realize this physical foundation that the second Adam wasn't able to realize. So what are we talking about when we talk about the physical salvation? Human body. What do we have to eat to keep our life as a physical body? Yes, food. If we don't eat food, we'll die. So, we're able to already realizing this physical foundation since the beginning of time. That's how all of us are still alive at this time. So if we look at True Father's autobiography, it starts off with a talk about food. So what is this concept? What is the salvation of physical foundation? Through the Moon family, this was prepared through the foundation of the Moon family. So what is physical salvation? So physical foundation is the completion of the family. So the spiritual foundation and the family foundation that True Father has to realize. So this is the Messiah's mission, to realize this family foundation and also to take on the foundation that the second Adam wasn't able to realize. So this is why the talk about food starts off with even the mission of the third Adam. So I'm only going to introduce people that have direct lineage relationship to the Moon family. If we're going to explain all of these people related, it's going to be too difficult. So only the great historical figures are going to be taught about today. So there's Moon Sonok grandfather, great-grandfather. He said, if you offer a meal to a person from any part of this land, the blessing of that land will flow abundantly to this house. So he taught this to his descendants about food. A great historical figure shall be born from my descendants. So he prophesied this. Now this is Moon Chi-guk grandfather. So this is a person that True Father was able to see before he died. This person's name was originally Moon Yong-myung. Referring to True Father, he shall become a great man in the future, assist him in whatever he desires. So what is this person? Who is this person? So being 10 years doing these lectures, starting from the beginnings of True Father's childhood and until now, not just the people that were directly connected to True Father, but I also interviewed lots of people that had some kind of relationship with True Father. So even friends, when True Father went to Japan, all of these people he was able to interview about True Father's life. So he did about 240 people's interviews. So when working at this organization, the history department, he was a minister. He was a minister at Heuseok-dong in Seoul. At that time, True Father was going to middle school at this place in Heuseok-dong. So spiritually, this is True Father's second homeland. So he was there for like 6 or 8 months. So when I was being minister over there, True Father came to visit about twice. And the first time, the national leader of Korea was Reverend Hwang Son-jo. He came in the morning, suddenly, and all of the members were full up in the room waiting for him. So True Father told Reverend Hwang to tell the history of this place So then Reverend Huang, for about 15 minutes, started to talk about True Father's life in middle school. So then Reverend Huang, after he started talking, True Father asked, "Who's the church leader of this place?" And he put up his hand and said it was me. And True Father, so the minister of this place should know a lot about True Father's life. So do you know about, he asked him directly, "Do you know my life?" So at that time I had interviewed a lot of people and I knew a lot about his history. So about 90% of my knowledge about, at that time, of True Father's life, he knew about 90%. So then True Father told him to come in front and to explain. So because Reverend Huang had talked about 15 minutes, then he thought maybe I should talk about 20 minutes. So he started talking, and even after 20 minutes, True Father was laughing and was telling me to continue. And all of the information that I started to forget, even though True Father is starting to forgetting a lot, he was able to remind True Father about all of his childhood memories. So I started talking from the beginning of his childhood all the way through his life, and not just the time when he was at the Seokdong, but even True Father's whole life. So after that lecture, True Father went to this chicken restaurant that day for lunch, and he told me, "You have researched a lot about my life. You're very young, and even though those things that I forgot, you have reminded me of my childhood, and so you should start to lecture a lot more about my life." So since then, this is why I'm lecturing about True Father's life. So because True Father recognized my ability of lecturing about his life, this is why True Father started to make me lecture about his life. So now this Moon Ji-guk grandfather, because of the war in Korea, then many of the people from North Korea had to come down to South. So it wasn't easy to find people with a relationship to True Father that were able to escape down to South Korea, because so many are still in North Korea. So he was able to interview those that he could find in South Korea. So listening to them about Moon Ji-guk grandfather, what kind of person he is. So in the winter, North Korea is extremely cold. It's minus 30 degrees Celsius in North Korea in the winter. So people up there, it's very difficult to eat, and they start to starve. And there are many people that die in this season, in the winter in North Korea. So what must they do to not die? So they would live uniquely. They would live near True Father's house at this time of the season. And there was this True Father's house. They had a farm, and so they would grow lots of fruit and. So there are so many people that came in the winter to live near this area because of the farm and all of the harvested products that had been kept. So then they go in the morning to get food from True Father's house for about a week or two. they would just hide their face and go and get food. But because some of these people have a conscience and they know it's difficult to get food for free, they would clean up around True Father's house, and they would do something that they could to earn the food. But even after 1 or 2 months, so they have to live about 3 months to escape the worst season, the winter. So they're so sorry to have to go and eat food from this house. So they just stay outside and put their faces in and out of the house just to show that their presence there. So Munjiguk, grandfather, he would make food, the rice, the wife, and she would bring the food, the rice, to the husband. So there was a habit of this grandfather. He wouldn't eat the food straight away. He would open the window and see outside and see if there was anyone starving outside of his window, to see if there had been anyone that had come to find food at his house. So his head, he would go out and inside the window just to check, to see if there's anyone around starving. So then the grandfather would shout at his wife and say, "There are lots of beggars outside, go and give them food, rice, straight away." So then the wife, not just 1 or 2 days, so many days she would have to do this. She would get very annoyed and would want to refuse so many times to her husband. But if she doesn't bring food, so she would bring this food and give it to the beggars outside. So what happens to the wife of the grandfather? In order to feed her husband, she can't give her husband food first, but she would have to first feed the beggars first in order to prevent her husband from starving. So that's how much of a prepared family they were. And these ancestors are the ancestors of True Father's family. So you probably all thought about this and listened as if it was an old book or some kind of story, but this is actually real. So next it's the granduncle Moon Yun-guk. He was a minister. So when Japan was occupying Korea for 40 years, this person was a key figure for the independence movement. So the Japanese were trying to find this person, so he had to escape from the Japanese and hide in the mountains because he was a very wanted person by the Japanese. So he went to this place in Gangwon province. And all of his students that he used to teach, there were people, his students were still living in this place. So he was able to meet his disciples, and one of this disciples' name was Shin Man-seung. So he was a Chinese characters lecturer, an expert. So this person, Shin Man-seung, so he started to talk about True Father, and lots of what he was talking about I had never seen in True Father's speeches. So this person started to pray, and he was a Christian, and even from middle school. So he heard a revelation that the Messiah is going to come in voice through when he was going to prison.
메시아를 모시는 그 기반을 닦기 위해서 목사가 되셨다라고 하는 것을 알 수가 있었습니다.
So we can see from this that there was a minister that was prepared.
모셨는데 이분의 얘기가 뭐냐면 이 문구 목사의 어린 시절부터
So since the younger childhood times, just asked him to say a little bit slower.
어린 시절부터 성장 과정에 대한 내용을 이 신만승 씨한테 다 이야기를 했다는 거예요.
So this person had told Shinman-sung about all of True Father's childhood. So Shinman-sung was able to tell us, myself, about all of these information that he knew from True Father. So he was friends with the president, Lee Seung-man, president at that time. It's President Seung-man-lee.
그런데 이분은 그것을 안 하고 자기 후학들을 지도하는 데만 전념을 했죠. 그런데 이 문무 목사가 장관으로 입각을 하고 그리고
대통령이 물어봤다고 장관하라고 근데 거절하고
So
계속 가르쳤다고.
the president of Korea at this time told this person Lee Seung-hwan to be a general of the army, but he refused at this time. And so this was
그걸 받으셨으면 국가적인 기반을 장관이 받는 건데 그거를 거절했다고.
7년 만에 나라를 복귀할 수 있는 찬스를 준비하고 있었던
So there was a chance that he could have taken.
그리고 나라의 기반이 있습니다.
Basically, there was a chance that he could have been one of the main people in the Seung-man-lee time, but then because he wanted to be a pastor and he realized that the true father, Messiah, would be born in his lineage, he refused. So, again, so when they asked him, why are you like this? And then he said he was not speaking. His father's father was not speaking. So Kim Kyung-hee is a true father's mother. And in her hand, there are three. There's Mr. Moon Kyung-hoon, who always walked with his hand, with his fist closed, and then they asked him, why are you always having your fist closed, your hand always closed? He said, because in my hand I'm holding a very important person. So he believed and knew that the Messiah would come in his lineage. So because his son was hiding it from everyone, so he had to keep his hand closed. So before True Father was born, he was a very talkative person. But then when True Father was born, he stopped speaking. Not because he could not speak, but he just decided to just speak, to be a man of small words. So they asked him, did you eat? He's like, yes, no. Yeah, so like he just decided to speak one word at a time.
So if we look in the Bible, when Zechariah so they
놓쳤어요.
yeah.
네. One person.
Okay.
그래서 덩어리가 아니지만 덩어리와 같은 삶을 사셨던 분이 문경유 참 아버님의 father였습니다.
So this is True Father's father, Moon Kyung-yu.
그리고 모친 김경재 충무님에 대한
말을 많이 안
이야기.
했다고
오늘
잘
사실은 이분의 말씀을, 이분의 내용을 설명하려고 이 문씨 가문을 쭉 얘기했어요.
So in order to talk about this person, that's why I've had to give a description about all of these fathers from grandfathers from True Father's side. So now this is a mother, Kim Kyung-ge. So she was very important in order to restore the foundation of the mother and son. So this mother is Kim Kyung-ge. So let's see what kind of life this mother, Kim Kyung-ge, had lived.
많은 자료가 없어.
So there's not much information about this mother, because after wasn't able to meet his mother because he was in prison many times, and but even God had prepared somebody, and the history has been written through this historical person. So this person is the youngest sister's daughter of True Father's mother. So this lady, Kim Myung-hwa, is living in Guri city in Korea. So it was a relief to be able to meet this lady, even though she's the niece of True Father's mother. She was able to tell me a lot, and she was able to see a lot and hear a lot about True Father's mother. So she was able to testify lots of things that wasn't even in True Father's speeches. So True Father's mother, at the age of 7, was able to receive a revelation from God, and said, "You are going to have a baby, but you cannot marry any man, but you have to wait for the person that I'm going to send you." So she received this revelation from God. So after receiving this revelation at the age of 7, she wasn't able to just marry any random person. So we hear a lot and we think that True Father came from a wealthy family. Of course he did, but so if we she was actually, from this, what this lady, the niece, is saying, is that she was actually very rich, not just what we've heard. So she inherited a lot of assets, and she had lots of servants in her house. So the mother of True Father had two servants, and was actually quite wealthy. So there are so many people that wanted to marry the daughter, True Father's mother. So the age that girls went to get married was from the age of 12 to 15. This was the age that they most went to get married as Korean girls. So why this was because having been invaded a lot by China,
그러니까 중국에서
so China,
시집 결혼하지 않은 여자들을 잡아가는 거예요.
there were lots of Chinese women that hadn't been married, so they would marry all of these Chinese women.
일본 시대를 그랬습니다. 일본 시대는 어떻게 되냐면
So in the Japanese era, occupation era,
일본이 그 2차 세계 대전을 일으키고 나서
after the Second World War,
젊은 여자들을
the young women
빼앗아다가 일본 군대에 보냈습니다.
were sent to the army in Japan.
놀이객감으로 군인들의 스트레스 해소.
They were sent as sex toys to the Japanese army. So even having to
결혼 안 하고 있으면 누가 잡아가요?
be married at this age, at 12 or 15, if they weren't, who would take them? Other nations, stronger nations, would take these women.
차마 못 잡아가요. 그 12살에서 15살이 결혼하는 나이였어요.
But the age between 12 and 15 was the age that these women were getting married. So receiving the revelation at 7 years old, she'd had to wait for this man that God said she would meet.
나타나야 말이죠.
So when was this man gonna appear?
선을 보았습니다. 다 보이콧했습니다.
So many men, she had been matched, but about 15 times she had met someone, but she would have to reject all of these men.
그런데 16살이 넘기 시작을 했어요.
So then she started to go over the age of 16.
명분이 없습니다. 부모를 설득할 명분도
Now it's getting difficult to get married at this age, and she has no excuse to not be married by this age.
그 집에는 손만 보면 다 노한다라고 하니까.
매칭 받으면 무조건 너 하니까
그런
여자들.
상황에서
So at that age, then it's difficult to get married. So many people, men, even started to reject her because she was getting over the age of 16.
넘어가면서 부모를 명령을 거부할 수 없어서 부모가 소개한 남자와 약혼을 하게 됩니다.
So then, after the age of 16, she gets engaged to a man that her parents forcibly introduced her to.
여자가 바로 결혼식을 하는 게 아니라 약혼식하고 결혼식하는 그 기간 동안 인터벌이 있었어요. 그 인터벌이 남편 집에 가서 한 40일이나 또 길게는 100일 동안
So
남편 집에 가서
the
비행 연습을 하는데
the wife would have to go to the husband's house for 40 or 100 days, but they wouldn't have a relationship during this time. This is what it was like in Korea before.
그 약혼한 남자 집에 가게 됩니다.
So she gets engaged to this man and she goes to this man's house.
하늘의 계시를 받았기 때문에
But because the mother had received this revelation,
속에서 눈물을 흘려서 호소를 하고 남편을 설득합니다.
so she tries and cries for about 3 days and tries to persuade this man that he is the man that she received the revelation.
깨졌을 때의 당신이 오는 충격 그리고 당신의 가문이 어려움을 겪을 것 이 내용에 대해서 너무나 잘 압니다.
So she knew about this revelation so much,
그러나 나는 어쩔 수 없습니다. 하늘의 계시를 받았습니다.
결혼하면 엄청난 고통이 올 거라고 이제.
and so even because she knows this revelation, there's going to be a lot of hardships that comes to this man's family because of the revelation that she's heard from God.
가족 몰래 밤에 도망을 나오게 됩니다.
도망가.
So then she tries to escape from this house. So she gets engaged and then she tries to escape. So this is a restoration of Eve's course. So this woman, True Father's mother, is who can restore the course, the path of Eve.
아버님이 감옥을 6번 갔을 때 총무님은 아주 잘하시죠. 그래서 모자 족조를 잘했다. 이것도 여러분들 잘 아시고
So she was able to fulfill the foundation of the mother and son.
자, 그런데 이 김경계 총무님이 또 핵심적인 역할이 성모는 뭘 해야 됩니까?
So what is the responsibility of Kim Kyung-ge? Is the responsibility to marry the Messiah. Is to get the Messiah married. That's the core responsibility.
예수님의 부인을 짱 매줘줘야 되는 거예요, 원래.
So even Jesus, Mary had to have responsibility, but she wasn't able to realize that responsibility and get Jesus married. That was her responsibility, though.
예.
그 엄마가
그냥 목소리만 따라하지 말고 내가 세게 하고 세게 얘기하고 그래야 돼. 좋으잖아.
When he lifts his voice up, then he wants me to lift my voice as well, just to get the flow of the sermon. Alright, I'll try harder now, because people are sleeping in the audience.
성모의 역할을 해야 되는데 그 성모의 역할을
아 말이야.
So Mary has to fulfill her responsibility.
계시를 받고 참 아버님의 1차 그 와이프 형이었던
참 아버님 와이프를 찾아줘야 된다고.
So the mother of True Father had to fulfill this responsibility of finding True Father's matching wife.
충분히 하시게 됩니다.
So
계시 받은 그 여인이 어디에 있으니 그 여인을 찾아와라. 자기의
she has to find the wife. So she asks her younger sister
그 여인이
to find this lady.
어머니 형이었던 성진님 어머니.
So this is the mother of Sungjinim, the first wife of True Father.
매칭을 해서
So matching True Father with the first wife is a fulfillment of her responsibility.
완성자로 설 수 있는 가정을 꾸릴 수 있도록 승리의 기반을.
So this was the completion foundation to be able to realize the family.
성모의 역할을 끝내죠.
So she fulfilled this responsibility to have the foundation of mother and son and to get her son married.
왜 1차 어머니 형은 왜 실패했죠?
So why did the first wife fail then of True Father?
현재 어머니는 어떻게 되는 거죠?
And the second wife failed as well. And lots of you are going to be curious why this happened. So the first wife of True Father was Sungjinim's mother.
제가 말씀을 못 드리고 핵심적인 것만
So I won't be able to tell you everything, but I'll tell you the core reasons about this.
이 최신이 가문에 준비된 여인이었고 하늘의 계시를 받은 여인이었습니다.
So this wife, the first wife, was the prepared wife of True Father.
하는 가운데 꿈을 꾸게 됩니다.
And she dreams one day
그 계시가 뭐냐면
and receives a revelation on what this was.
거울을 보고 있는데
She's looking at a mirror,
거울 속에
and in the mirror there was a moon.
거울 속에 이렇게 달이 나타나.
There was just a moon just like that in the mirror.
달이 나타나더니 갑자기 해가 나타나서 달과 하나 되는 모양.
And then the sun starts to appear
그 꿈을
and
계시를
becomes one with the moon, and she receives this kind of revelation, looking in the mirror and seeing the moon and the sun come together.
장차
음성 들린다고 이제.
하늘의 뜻을 이룰 아들과 만나게 될 것입니다.
So you are going to meet with this man, and will have to become one with this man when he appears. So she receives this revelation.
24번이나 선을 보게 됩니다.
Son?
결혼
가문에서 계속 결혼하라고 해요.
손보다.
24번 인게이지먼트 했다고.
다른 남자나?
어.
So this lady was engaged 24 times to other men,
나타났을 때 결혼한 여인이죠.
결국 참 아버님.
but in the end, she got married to True Father.
그래서 이 성진 어머니 그런 준비된 여인이었는데
처음 알았어요.
이분이
So
실족하게 된 것은 떨어지게 된 것은
실패한 이유는
so the reason the first wife
아버님
failed
영락교회 한국의 그 기독교 처치 중에서는 아주 큰
영락교회라는 게 있어요.
북한에서 내려온 목사님에서는 가장 성공한
there's this really big church.
한 경직 목사였습니다.
There was this minister of this big Christian church called Myeongnak Church. This minister,
이 사람은 한 경직은 아버님과 친구 사이였어요.
this person was a friend of True Father
시절 아버님이 잘하는 것을
from
다 보았어요.
from childhood dates.
예수님이 어렸을 때 그 고향에서 인정받지 못했듯이
So just like Jesus wasn't able to receive recognition from the people around,
그리고 이
but True Father was able to receive this kind of recognition from this minister.
네 남편은 메시아가 아니다. 내가 어렸을 때
메시아가 아니라고
성장관에서 봤다.
최어머니한테
그가 무슨 메시아냐?
So this minister is starting to shout and say, "How can you think this person is a Messiah? This man is a Messiah?"
최씨 어머니를 공격했습니다.
And starts to attack the first wife of True Father.
남동생이 두 명 있었는데
So the wife has two younger brothers,
끌고 가서
and they were dragged to the Christian church of this Myeongnak church and were start to get brainwashed.
메시아가 아니야.
So your older sister's husband is not the Messiah.
두 남동생이
So these
어머니와 계속
two younger brothers started to fight with their sister
아버님의 가정이 계속 수락을 인정합니다.
and start to attack this couple of True Father and his first wife and his family.
그리고 드디어 최씨 어머니는
So in the end,
자기의 어머니 역할을
is not in the end the wife of True Father is not able to fulfill this responsibility and starts to give up as being the wife as True Father, the Messiah.
가셨을 때 거기 서대문 형무소 들어가는 날
So when True Father goes to the Sodemun prison,
와가지고 강제로 이혼 도장을 찍게 합니다.
comes and makes True Father forcefully sign the divorce papers. However, True Father didn't want to divorce, but he was forced and they took his thumb and made him print as a signature to sign these divorce documents.
이 최씨 어머니는 나중에 이제 제가 유일하게 통일교에서 유일하게 최씨 어머니를 인터뷰를 제가 3번에 만나서 인터뷰를 했어요.
So I myself was able to interview the first wife of True Father about 3 times directly and be able to interview her.
이야기를 나눴는데
So we're talking.
하는 마음이 반생했어요.
되게
자기가
So she starts to repent a lot.
그러나 돌아갈 수가 없는 상황입니다.
However, it's too late. She cannot.
14년 동안 기다리셨어요.
True Father had waited 14 years,
7년 동안 기다리시고
7 years,
도장을 찍은 후에도
and even after getting divorced, he waited another 7 years.
왜냐하면 첫째 부인이 완성이 되면
Because if the first wife
모든 것을 다 해결되죠.
is successful, accomplishes, then everything will be accomplished after that, naturally.
상황이 되고 제 시어머니가
So the first wife of True Father, in conclusion,
응? 뭐라고요?
돌아가시게
2010년에
네,
So in
들어갔어요.
2010, she goes to spirit world.
2009년도
In 2009, she passed away in spirit world.
돌아가시기 전에
So before she passed away,
참 아버님과 참 어머님
True Father and True Mother, now the Hanakcha True Mother,
그 처에 가서 3번씩이나 기도를 해주시고
went to her house
명절 때마다
3 times to pray.
선물을 주시고
At every national holiday in Korea, would go and give presents
또 사주시고
and would pray. Also bought even her a house.
엄청난 정성을 들여주셨어요.
So they made lots of conditions for the first wife.
회개하기 시작했어요.
So just before she passed away, she started to repent a lot.
북한에서 자기의 마음을 같이 나눌 수 있는 사람이 누구냐면 우리 36가정의 세 가정 중에 한 분인 김원필 선생.
So uniquely, the only person out of in Korea was Kim Won-pil, who the first wife of True Father, was able to share her heart with.
거기서 생을 마감하시면서
So before passing away,
왔다 갔다 하시면서 생을 마감하셨는데 이분이 돌아가셨을 때 어떻게 하고 돌아가셨냐면 그 성진님의 와이프, 아들의 와이프죠.
Songjinim's wife, the son's wife,
동순이
내가
동순이
지금까지
누구예요?
와이프.
한학자 어머니로부터 받은 그 폐물을 보라.
present.
bring the present.
그리고 이제 그 보석을 가지고 와가지고 그것을 만지작거리시면서 기도하는 마음.
So she starts to pray with the present that she receives from Songjinim's wife.
어머니 하나짱 당신이 없었으면 어떻게 해와의 삶을 할 수 있었겠어요?
If it wasn't for you, how would True Mother be able to realize this mission as completed Eve?
그러면서 눈물을 흘리면서
So she starts crying and she passes away.
그러니까 이분이 실패했어도
So even though she failed,
돌아갔다.
she passed away.
아버님 앞으로 돌아갔다고.
참 가정을 이루지 못한
She was able to go back and repent to True Father and go back to True Father's heart before she passed away.
그 마음을 흐리게 하는 거죠. 주변을 동원하는 거죠. 그런 과정에서 사신 분이 제시어머니였고요.
So this was the first wife of True Father. So now let's talk about the second wife of True Father.
성진 어머니와 이혼하기 전에 7년을 참고 또 이혼 도장을 찍고
So even after divorcing, waiting after 7 years for the first wife,
거쳐서 준비된 기반인데 그때는 청파동에 많은 영적인 할머니들이 기도하고 있었어요.
at that time in Chongpadong there are lots of spiritual ladies that would come and pray,
그 기도를 하고 있었어요.
come pray at the house.
아버님 당신이 원리적으로 얘기하지 않으셨습니까? 메시아 예수가 죽은 이유가 가정의 기반을 갖지 못해서 죽었다고 설명해 놓으시고 왜 성을 안 하십니까? 아직도 14년을 참으면 됐지. 아직도 성을 안
왜 결혼 안 하냐고.
So why don't you marry? You used to talk a lot about Jesus not being able to fulfill his mission because you didn't realize a family and not marry. So why are you not marrying and why are you not fulfilling this mission of True Father? You have to become the model of this. So why they're crying a lot and praying a lot? Why True Father cannot? Why he's struggling so much to be able to accomplish this initial mission?
김영희
So Kim Young-hee,
두 번째.
the second wife of True Father,
제가 정말로 인터뷰를 많이 했고
so I was able to interview her as well, quite a lot.
친해져서
And because I became very friendly with her,
제가 역사 편찬했을 때 차로 모시고 또 행사 때 가고
교회 행사 있으면
I would be able to go by car and pick her up and bring her to church events. So by this I was quite close to her and talking and interviewing with her. I can't tell you all about it, but
여기 와서 그 인터뷰한 내용을 공개했기 때문에 여러분들 자세히 들으면 그거 들으시고 어떻든 이분은 1차 어머니가 실패했기 때문에
so because the first wife had failed, the second wife,
어머니가 이루지 못한 사명을 다해야 되기 때문에
because she has to realize all of these missions, the responsibility,
그 탄감복귀의 과정이
so she needs to go through this indemnity period,
같은 것인데 이것은
this restoration, in order to restore the first wife.
나라를 초월한 회화복귀
So in order to do this, she has to go across and over the border of nations. She has to walk this path as a wife, not just in Korea, but in other nations, to realize this restoration of the first wife. So she has this mission to go to Japan
애기를 낳아야
and have a child in Japan.
시즈님을 낳았어요.
So she has a child in Japan, Hijinim,
근데 돌아오려고 하는 그 과정 중에
but trying to come back to Korea,
이분은 사실 패스포드도 없고
she doesn't have a passport.
거기에 정식적으로 비자를 내 가지고
She doesn't have an official visa either. She went there secretly
일본이 한국 지배했던 상황이었기 때문에
because it was a time that Japan was occupying Korea.
일본에 가가지고
She went there secretly,
다시 건너와야 되는 입장이에요.
so she's trying to get back to Korea.
일본에 갈 때는 아기가 뱃속에 있었기 때문에 문제가 없어요.
So there was no problem because she was pregnant when she went to Japan, but then after having the baby,
너무 험난하기 때문에
she was coming back to Korea with.
비정상적인 방법으로 돌아올 수가 없었어요.
She wasn't able to come back in natural means.
거기에 세관원을 통해서 세관원 중에서 한국 사람을 찾게 되고
So she starts to look for a Korean person who could help her to get a proper visa so she could come back to Korea.
그 세관왕이 강도로 변해요.
So when she was looking for this man, a Korean man that could help her, this man is actually a bad man, and this is the man that actually rapes her.
그래서 이분은 그 시진님만 아버님에게 보내고 편지를 씁니다.
시인은 편지를 썼다고
나는
하는 말.
여호와의 사명을 다할 수가 없어.
So she writes a letter to True Father.
내가 당신의
I'm not able to accomplish your mission.
이런 상태에서 당신의 길을 쫓아간다면 당신은 얼마나 많은 수난을 겪겠습니까?
If I continue this mission with you, you are going to receive so many hardships because of this, what has happened. So True Father cries and shouts.
네가 지금 어떤 상황에 처했다 할지라도 내가 너를
So even whatever condition you are, even if you're about to die,
너를 데리고 갈 테니
I'm going to restore you and bring you no matter what has happened.
그러나 이때 희진 어머니
So the mother of Heejin,
사실은 나타난다면 아버님의 길이 너무나 연장되고 너무 힘들고
if she does come back, she knows that the path of True Father is going to become so difficult and is going to take him even longer. So she goes and hides in the mountains
또 할머니들 계속
7년 동안.
for 7 years.
그래서 3차 어머니가 서식에 있는데
So that
희진님 어머니는
그래서 3차 어머니를 찾아야 된다고.
so now it's why True Father has to find the third,
참 어머니가 설
his next wife, who can become the true mother.
방해가 될까 봐 나타나지 않습니다.
So because she's worried, the second wife is worried that she'll come back and become an obstacle to True Father and make his course even harder, she deliberately doesn't come back.
불 속에서 열매를 따먹고 물을 마시고 사람들이 인적이 없는 곳에서
산에서 아무도 없는 산에서.
So she stays away from True Father for a long time, where there's nobody nearby in the mountains. So she starts to eat fruits, anything she can find in the mountains to stay away from True Father.
참 어머님이 제자리에 섰을 때 나타나시게 되고 한남동 공간에 혼독해 또 천정궁에 혼독해로 오고 가십니다.
혼독해 가끔 오셨죠.
So now she comes quite often to the Hundoke with True Father,
모델의 길을 사시려고 애쓰고 계시죠.
and she's trying her best to live a course as a model.
지금 병 들었다고.
But now she's in Chongpyeong with a disease in the hospital.
이게 1차 어머니고 2차 어머니는 실패한 과정입니다.
So this is a difficult course of the first and the second wife failing as a true mother.
이거 모르고 사람들은 뭐 이상한 소문 듣고 뭐
So many people do not know this
크게 나오네.
and talk lots of rumors, some strange rumors, because they don't know the true facts.
그 오해를 낳게 된 배경에는 박정화 씨라고 하는 사람이 쓴 육마리아 비극이라고 하는 책이
So now there's this book called The Six Marias, written by Park Myung-hwa, which is able to talk about this misunderstanding so people understand this better.
피난 올 때 데리고 온 제자였어요.
So this is a descendant that True Father
북한에서 내려올 때
brought back from North Korea when he came down.
그리고 나중에는 역사편찬 내가 근무할 때
So when I was
친구처럼 계속 오셔서 식사도 하고
So this is a lady that would work with me a lot while I was at the Historical Foundation.
남자야.
그분이 어느 날
Oh, sorry, it's a man.
원고를 쓴 것을 가져왔어요. 원고를 쓴 걸 갖고 왔는데
So he brings this original document written by True Father.
자기 나름대로 아버님을 따라오면서 기록한 그런 원고였습니다.
So this is an original document that he kept
그때는
during True Father's life.
과장에서 용 과장 그러면서 내가 당신하고 이제 친했고 당신이
So he tells me,
모든 거 다 하니까
because I'm very close with you,
원고를 내가 출판하기 전에
and before I publish this original document, I'm going to share it with you first. So you look at this, and if you see any problems with it, come back to me.
원고를 저한테 줬어요.
So he gives me this original document.
저는 그것을 즉시 카피
So straight away I copied this.
카피하고 놨는데 이 사람이 나중에 이제 변질되었다는 소문이
바뀌었다.
나왔어요.
마음을 바뀌었다. 바꿨다.
So now there's a rumor that he changed his mind before publishing this, But
틀이 나왔다는 거예요.
myself, I have the original document that he gave me.
번역을 해가지고 본래 원고하고 비교를 해봤어요.
So I have compared this with what has been published now. So there's about 70% that is actually changed.
이 박정화 씨가
So the reason of this
통일교를 반대하는
is because
통일교라고 하는 사람
Pak Jong-a starts to go over and get influenced by this person, Mr. Tak,
암이 걸려가지고
Mr. Tak, who is starting to become negative to the movement.
그 사람이 돈을 대주고 또 많은 돈을 또 준다고 하기에
So this person gives him a lot of money,
원고를 맡기게 된 것입니다.
돈
and
준다고 하니까
그런데
뭘
이
주고 했다고.
김동완 씨에 대해서
and because giving this money, then he receives, this bad negative person receives the original document.
딴판이에요. 그걸 가지고 누가 이용하죠? 반대파들이 이용하고
So who uses this original document? People negative to the movement. They are in easy hands, these ex-munis. They use this document.
참 가정에서 은진님도 그걸 또 이용했어요.
So even in the true family, Unjinim uses this document,
난수님 해줘.
and Nansongnim,
없는 내용이에요. 사실.
난수님도 사용했다고. 근거가 없는 내용.
그래서 역사 시대에
so
와서
this content is content which has no base and is not true.
역사 편찬위원회는 그 원고가 그대로 다 있고 인터뷰한 모든 비디오 자료가 다 있어요.
So in the historical
공개하려고 했는데
foundation, we have all of these real videos and content, and we're having them, waiting to release them with the truth.
아버님도 허락해서 말씀드립니다.
But True Father told us to put it off for a while, but now True Father has given us permission to release all of these documents.
그래서 이 총무님은 결국은 그 1차 어머니성 성진 어머니를 세우는데 성모의 역할을 다 하시게 돼요.
So the Mother of True Mother actually realizes her responsibility, able to send True Father with the first wife to get married.
1차 어머니형 그 최씨 어머니, 2차 어머니형 시진님 어머니.
The second wife,
이그 2차, 3차의 어머니형은 이분이 직접적으로 성모의 역할을 할 수가 없었어요.
so for the second wife and the third wife, the Mother of True Father wasn't able to
2차, 3차
take and get involved and take responsibility because she was in North Korea.
그래서 1차의 그 뜻을 성모의 역할을 다 하신 분이죠. 아시겠어요?
이분이 그 역할을 다 했다고.
장작권 복귀입니다. 이 장작권 복귀에서
So now it's
맞아.
about the
이문영수 대형님
elder son
태어나면서부터
foundation.
참 아버님이 누구인 줄 알았어요.
So this is the elder brother, Moon Young-soo.
동생이 태어날 그 자기 동생이 어떤 사람인 줄 알았어요.
So he knew his younger brother, and he knew what kind of person True Father was, his younger brother.
누구라고 하면 죽는 휴름까지도 낼 정도로
So this,
참 아버님에게 절대 복종했던
so this older brother was someone
심한 동생과 같은
who did absolute obedience to True Father. Even though he was an older brother to True Father, he acted as a younger brother to True Father and helped True Father in his mission.
임신하자마자
So,
아버님이 잉태되자마자
아버님이
so when
있었을 때
그
문부에
when True Father was in his mother's womb,
태어나기 전에 참 아버님이 뱃속에 들었을 때부터 장자권 복귀 이루어서
so even before True Father was born, he was able to fulfill this foundation of elder son position.
그런 가문이 되었던 것입니다.
So substantially restored the birthright of the elder son.
메시아는 아무나 메시아가 되는 것이 아닙니다.
So not anyone can become the Messiah.
메시아가 되려면
In order to become the Messiah,
메시아의 첫째 조건은
what's the first condition
역사적으로 내려오는
is to
역사적으로
historically have the lineage of God and have the foundation to transfer to the lineage of God.
해와 복귀의 과정,
So in order to receive this lineage is the elder son foundation, the mother and son foundation.
그 모델을
Through these foundations, the restoration of these foundations,
만들어 온 가정만이 메시아.
only the family that has fulfilled all of these foundations, the restoration, is able to have the Messiah in their family.
왜 참아본 메시아냐?
So why is true Father the Messiah? Objectively,
과정을 통해서 하나님의 직계 아들로 오신 분이기 때문에.
is because he is the son of a family of ancestors who have been able to fulfill these foundations. So the first Adam and second Adam, Jesus, and now the third Adam, true Father.
그래서 여러분들이 그 메시아란 타락하지 않은 존재로 와야 타락한 인류를 구원할 수가 있는 것입니다.
타락하지 않은 사람이 메시아라고.
So only the Messiah has to be someone who is not from a fallen lineage.
그래서 타락한 사람을 구원해 줄 수 있어요.
So then he can actually restore people with the fallen lineage.
이 메시아성에 대해서 쓰면서 많은 그 자기 스스로가 메시아라고 하는 사람들을 많이 들었어요.
So there are many people in the past that have proclaimed that themselves are the Messiah,
그 사람들이
and he's met lots of these people.
그 옆에 있는 오른편 한 사람이 자기의 그
So the secretary or the right-hand person of these people,
그 로드맵이 너무 똑같아요. 그 흐름이 너무나 똑같아요.
so the pattern of all these are so the same with all of these fake messiahs that he's met.
교주님은요, 우리 선생님은요,
Our teacher, our
하나님의 말씀을 갖고
minister, is a person who has brought the words of God.
근데 그 내용을 읽어보면
But if you read these contents,
정말로 타당한 말씀이에요.
부분적으로 되게 맞다고.
so the content, only parts of these content, some of it is right, but not all of it.
그 사람들은 거기 넘어가요.
그 일부의 사람들이
So part of these people that respect part of this content are able to come.
아, 질문한 거예요.
뭐라고?
네?
안 돼?
물어봐 들리는지.
Can you hear? 오케이. 질문 다시 한번 해주십시오.
그러니까 제가 논문을 쓰면서
So writing his thesis,
라고 물으면
if you ask these people, how are you the Messiah?
이 말씀 때문에 내가 메시아다라고.
They say that I'm the Messiah because of these words, because of my speech.
아주 좋은 말씀이에요.
So part of these speeches are actually quite good, but only partial parts.
사람, 즉 자기가 자칫 메시아라고 하는 사람에게 질문을 던진단 말이에요. 당신이 객관적으로 메시아에 대해서 설명해요.
So objectively, I ask them, please tell me, objectively, why you think you are the Messiah. Give me proof.
얼굴이 빨개져요.
So then they become very red. Their face gets red and they get very agitative.
당신이 하나님의 아들로 왔다라고 하는 증거를 객관적으로 증명해 보라니까요.
Please, objectively, explain to me why you think that this person next to you has come as a Messiah.
메시아는 아무나 되는 게 아니에요.
Not anyone can become the Messiah.
하나님의 직계 아들로 왔다라고 하는 혈통 전환의 과정의 기반은
You have to come from the foundation of the lineage, the transfer of the lineage to God.
아버님이 이 성경의 주류적인 맥락을 예수님의 계보의 입장까지 올 때 모든 중심이 있는 거예요. 그 성경에 얽히고 설킨 역사를 해석합니다.
참부모님이 성경 이야기를 다 해석을 하셨다고.
So true parents have been able to explain all of this Bible and interpreted all of the Bible foundation and the process, and no one has been able to explain like True Father has.
이런 얘기 이제 듣고 이제 좋으신 분들은
So people listening to this and sleeping,
얘기 하는데도 좋으시는 분은 이제 저기 마귀가 잡아갈 거예요. 마귀가 또
사탄.
are going to be taken away by Satan. That's what he said.
발로다가 차도 발다 차도
So those people are just people that just sleep and just kind of listen and just follow blindly to what True Father says.
신앙의 열정도 없이 가요.
Don't have any passion in faith.
왜 여러분들에게 내가 이제 입 앞에 메시아를 얘기합니까?
Why do you think I'm here talking about the Messiah in front of you?
메시아가 이 땅에 오셔서 94세가 되셨어요.
Because Messiah is now 94 and he's here as the Messiah.
그럼 메시아를 우리가 선포하고 있습니까, 제대로?
Are we proclaiming this person as the Messiah to the world properly?
두려워하고 있어?
Are we scared?
소개하는데 주저하고 있습니까?
Are we still scared introducing ourselves as the Unification Church?
메시아에 대한 정체성을 확실히 못 갖고 있기 때문에
Because we don't know the proper identity of the Messiah, we are not able to prove objectively why we believe True Father is the Messiah.
저는 놀랐어요.
I was very surprised.
제가 15일 두 번 갔다 왔어요.
I went to Africa for 15 days twice.
저는 아프리카 사람들을 좀 낮게 보았어요.
I saw the African people a little bit
미국 사람보다도
a little bit inferiorly.
성경 더 안.
However, the African people know the Bible better than American Christians.
지배를 받았지만 선교사들의
Even though they received
대했기 때문에
invasion by the Europeans and received education by the Europeans, they know actually the Christianity much better than Europeans.
야, 그리고
There's nothing they don't understand about the Bible.
그 종족의 주장들 모이는 사람들이 와가지고
와가지고
얼마나 그냥 그 기쁜 마음
So chiefs from different tribes in Africa
와가지고 되게
came and were very happy and to hear about what I had to say about True Father.
뜨겁거나 차가워야 된다고 믿으면 안 된다고.
So we can't be in the middle. We have to be either very passionate or we have to be very extremely not passionate. We have to be one or the other. We can't just be in the middle.
조심하세요.
So don't sleep, please.
그리고 다음 시간에 객관적으로 또 증명하는 메시아성에 대해서 또 설명하겠습니다.
So in the next lecture I'm going to talk again about True Father and the second reason why True Father is
준비해서 보낸다.
the real Messiah.
메시아의 증명. 첫째는 하나님의 지기 아들로 오신 증거를 보겠습니다. 예, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Young, and I really appreciate the efforts that you are making and apologize for our lack of attention. But we will try harder after lunch. But remember, there's a thing called ALS, the after lunch syndrome, okay? So please try to avoid that. Anyway, we have 50 minutes, 50 minutes for lunch, okay? So